and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavour show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of...
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at some audio you provided from The Archers on BBC Radio 4. And like you said, it's much more than just farming, isn't it? It's this whole mix of everyday life, personal stories, and then this really unexpected clash at the end. So our mission today is to unpack this specific audio for you. Find those surprising insights hiding there. We'll look at the little details, the personal stuff that hits home, and that final moment that really makes you think about control and loyalty.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? How these sort of ordinary conversations in this very familiar setting can suddenly reveal such complex things, human motivations, the impact of past events. It's all layered in there. Every little action seems to mean something more.
Okay, let's get into it then. The audio drops us right into harvest season, and straight away, you get these really human touches. Someone complaining their bum's completely flat on the tractor seat, the idea of these fancy air-sprung seats with cup holders, and then Stella Pryor doing star jumps in the field, joking about a combine cam for Countryfile. What does that tell you right off the bat about the reality of this work?
Well, exactly that. It shows the sheer physical side of it, the endurance needed, but also those little moments, the humor, the search for comfort. They break through the routine. It humanizes the whole process, doesn't it? Even when the pressure's on.
And it's not just physical. The tech side comes through too. Stella controlling everything from a screen, adjusting pressure, the knives, independently. She's even got a window to check the grain bank for, chaff or unfresh tips.
Yeah, it's quite sophisticated, and it makes you think how much precision actually goes into harvesting. It's not just driving up and down, especially with things like moisture levels. That's critical. Get it wrong, even slightly too high, and you're looking at serious drying costs. Thousands, potentially, plus a lower price for the grain itself.
So getting the balance right is everything, financially too.
Exactly. A good harvest isn't just about volume. It's about that perfect balance.
Then the scene shifts quite nicely, actually, to the harvest tea. Sound like a proper feast. Pork pie, quiche, lemon drizzle, sandwiches. You can almost smell it. A real communal feel. And we meet Ben just out of uni, loading up his car with his mom's cooking, looking for a nursing job, finding it a lot harder than we thought.
Yeah, that whole tradition, it really underlines the community aspect. Sharing the load, sharing the food. But Ben's story, it also hints at something else, doesn't it? A sort of generational shift. He's looking outside farming, even though he mentions being put off by the thorough soaking and boring paperwork.
Right, and you have those other little community bits too. Jolene making a fuss over Kenton's birthday, the cat in a sparkly collar, the pub wanting an award despite Ed's drone footage issues still hanging around.
It paints a picture, doesn't it? The social fabric, those little snippets, the minor dramas, they're part of the rhythm too. They show how personalities rub along, the little frictions that are always there, simmering away, maybe hinting at bigger things sometimes.
Okay, so things are ticking along, harvest is happening, community life, but then it gets, really interesting, more personal. There's that moment Ruth stops recording because a hare jumps out in front of the combine. Seems small, but for her, it's clearly a big trigger. Takes her right back.
Yeah, that's a powerful moment. How a simple, current event just snaps you back to unresolved grief. Her feelings about her dog, Weaver, the self-blame, even though she knows logically it wasn't her fault, that Weaver was just following his instincts. It shows how long trauma can cast a shadow.
And her thinking about maybe getting another dog later, it feels like a tentative step, doesn't it, towards healing?
Definitely. A little glimmer of hope, wanting a new beginning, right there amidst the harvest work.
Then the conversation shifts again, this time to Harry. And wow, his story, his father's haulage business. They thought it was doing great. Going brilliantly, he says, until his dad just collapsed. And only then did they find out the business had been in trouble. His dad working 24/7, just relentless.
It's incredibly moving. You really feel the weight of that. And it's such a stark reminder of, the hidden burdens people carry, especially that kind of work ethic. What's the real cost, the unseen cost? His father's collapse makes you ask that hard.
And it gets even deeper, the parallel with his mother's death, a stroke. He talks about being so absorbed in the harvest work himself, that terrible regret, wishing he'd realized, wishing he'd dropped everything for those last precious weeks. He remembers packing for her move, how happy she was, and then she never made it.
Oh, the detail is just heartbreaking. It really hits home, doesn't it? Questions about work-life balance, priorities, especially during intense times like harvest, that longing for lost time, the fragility of it all, it makes you stop and think.
And that observation he makes about the new manager at Grey Gables being similar to my dad because every conversation comes back to her job.
It's subtle, but powerful, like a warning almost.
Yeah.
Is this pattern just going to repeat? That intense focus on work, potentially at a huge personal cost.
So these deep personal stories are unfolding, and then suddenly the harvest is complete. There's this sense of celebration in the air. Ruth's even decided, yes, time for a new dog, a new start, and bam! Brian arrives. Furious. What are you playing at, for crying out loud? That's his opening line. He's living the wheat's been harvested. Why expressly forbade you?
Yeah, the mood just shatters, doesn't it? And you immediately see this clash. A total clash of perspectives on what leverage even means here. Brian sees that unharvested wheat as a tool, a weapon almost. He mentions Justin, so it's clearly tied to some business dispute. He calls it a double cross, sabotage.
But Stella's view is completely different. She's adamant there are no circumstances, none whatsoever, where I'd let good quality wheat rot in the fields. That's quite a statement. And she argues the leverage wasn't leverage anymore because Brian walked away.
But I mean, couldn't you argue Brian was prioritizing? Just prioritizing a business strategy, maybe a flawed one, over the crop itself. Is his view totally invalid in a business sense? Well, that's the absolute core of the conflict, isn't it? Brian's playing business chess, a power move. For him, the wheat is just a piece on the board. But Stella sees the wheat itself, the value in it. Letting it rot is morally wrong to her and practically wasteful. It forces you to ask, what wins? The strategic gain, even if it means destruction, or the inherent value of the thing itself. And her line, if you walk away, Brian, that makes it revenge, and I want no part of that. That draws a clear moral line for her. It's not just business tactics anymore.
Brian doesn't see it that way at all. His reaction is immediate and harsh. Basically tells her she's finished. No future prospects around here. Asks her, how can anyone trust you when they hear what you've done?
Yeah, he goes straight for the professional consequences. Tries to isolate her.
But Stella's response, just as fast, just as decisive. That's fine then, I quit. Just like that. Throws him the combine key. It's not my problem anymore. Asked Ruth for a lift. Leaves Brian standing there, just stunned. Stella, what the hell have you done, Stella? The finality is incredible.
Absolutely. She calls his bluff, essentially. Takes control in the only way she feels she can at that point.
So where does this all leave us? We've gone from tractor seat complaints and harvest tea through these really deep, painful personal memories to this explosive confrontation about loyalty, priorities, and power. This dive into your audio, it really shows how much drama, how much life can be packed into a short space of time.
It really does. And I think one powerful takeaway is seeing that constant tension, the pull between your personal integrity, your principles, and what you're told to do professionally. Especially when people have completely different ideas about what's best. Yeah. It really challenges you, doesn't it? What would you prioritize? Loyalty to a boss, loyalty to a principle, like not wasting food, loyalty to the job itself.
Yeah, tough questions. And maybe that leads to the final thought for you to consider from this deep dive. In your own life, think about it. When does sticking to the plan, following the instructions, become less important than maybe preventing waste or following your own strong conviction about what's right? And what are the real costs personally, professionally, when you decide to make that kind of stance?
So, what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just
And,
moving mics around.
So, what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the archers. Any
Are you what we
movements
call Foley then?
and- kind of. Yep. That's,
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
yep. That's the bull bar. That's,
This one.
yep. That's.
Haley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now. No. I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them, Caroline. I mean,
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever